Okay, so just wanted to quickly share this. Basically, how do you unlock high quality leads, right? How do you move from attracting low quality leads to generating high quality leads? And this is the exact same process I've used for our agency to generate high quality leads and clients, that I've used for clients that we've worked with and continue to work with, and also in the workshops and trainings that we've done recently, where people who have implemented these exact steps that I'm about to show you have actually been able to generate high quality leads and also to close several clients for their business as well. So let me just walk through very quickly how you actually go about doing that. So first, let's talk about the three reasons why you're attracting low quality leads, right? The first thing is that you're broad targeting or you're marketing to too many segments at once, meaning you're trying to reach everyone with the same message and the same product and the same service. The second reason is because you lack understanding of buyers' needs and why they buy from you. And the third thing is not knowing your value that is different from your competitors. There are three things you need to change. First of all, as I mentioned, broad targeting, trying to reach everyone. No differentiation, meaning your clients or potential clients don't know what sets you apart or makes you different or unique from competitors who offers the same thing that you do. And self-promotion, meaning you're always promoting your service, you're always talking about your service. So here's what we need to do. First of all, we need to move from broad targeting to niche targeting, where you're not trying to reach everyone, but there's a specific segment, there's a specific audience that you're trying to target and tailor your services and your messaging to, right? And how you actually do that is by building a high value client profile. Next, you want to move from no differentiation to actually strong differentiation. And again, how do you do that? You develop what I call a differentiated value. Now, your differentiated value is simply what's something unique and different that you can offer that competitors either are unable to offer because they don't have the expertise or the competency to do it, or they may have the competency, but they're unwilling to, right? Or because they don't think it's worth it. That you can really figure out that real sweet spot that helps you to differentiate from your competitors. Then finally, moving from self promotion to actually understanding and focusing on your buyer's needs, right? And you do that by understanding buying triggers. Now, let's quickly go through each of these three. So, first one is a high value client profile, right? So, in order to develop your high value client profile, which is basically a profile of what are the traits and characteristics of your best fit clients based on past experience that you would have had interacting with other clients that you either currently do jobs for or you have worked with in the past, right? So the first thing is to identify your high value clients, right? And I usually use three criteria for this. One, these are the ones that are the most profitable. Two, the ones that have the highest retention in terms of they staying with you the longest. And three, the ones that get the most value from the particular service that you offer. So the combination of those three is what would form your high value clients. The second thing is identify the traits that make them high value, right? So based on your experience with them, what are typical the patterns or the commonalities that you notice with them, right? It could be demography in terms of their age, gender, location, and so on. It may be psychography, meaning they experience particular common problems or they think about their problem in a particular way. It could be, even for some people, technography or firmography. Technography meaning what type of tech stacks they use, or firmographic meaning their particular, company, business maturity state, probably a particular income level that they generate on an annual basis. So you want to be able to identify all of those traits. The third thing is to identify the traits that don't make them a high value client, right? So just as how you need to identify the traits that make them a high value client, you also need to identify what are the traits that doesn't make them a high value client. Then the fourth thing is to build a profile of your high value clients, right? So you've identified exactly who your high value clients are. You know exactly the traits that make them high value clients, which we call your qualification criteria. And you know the things that don't make them a high value client, which we call your disqualification criteria. The second thing now is your differentiated value. Now, how you actually identify your differentiated value is one, identify your top three strengths that clients value about you. Two, identify your top weaknesses, things that you're not good at because you want to stay away from your weaknesses. And three, you want to identify your top three weaknesses of your top three competitors. And then after you've done those first three steps, then the fourth step is to find where your strengths intersect with your competitors' weaknesses, right? Because you want to be able to really leverage and amplify your strengths in terms of to your potential clients, but also gaining that competitive advantage by putting them against your competitors and their weaknesses. And that sweet spot is really where your differentiated value is. And the final thing is to uncover buyers' needs. Now, for this, you want to interview 5 to 7 clients that fall in the category of high value clients, right? And you want to ask them these 3 questions. Number one, what was frustrating you that led to deciding today is the day I'm going to get service, whatever your particular service is? And asking this question will help you to uncover those buying triggers, right? Buying triggers are simply what are the things that would cause a potential client to reach out to you for your specific services based on the problem that you solve for them or the outcome that you're able to help them achieve, right? So that first question will help you to identify that. The second question is walk me through your experience having that issue, what was going on at the time. That will help you to paint a picture of the situation and kind of give you some context as to how the particular problem that they're struggling with from question one actually exists within their world. And then the final thing is, when did you realize that what you were doing before wasn't working? This is now where they're going to tell you, well, I was doing this before to try and solve this problem or deliver this particular outcome, but it wasn't helping. So now you can now position your solution as the better alternative to what they were doing before. And by doing these 3 things that I just mentioned, developing your high value client profile, being able to understand what your differentiated value is, and also understanding your buyer's needs and their buying trigger in terms of what would cause them to reach out for you for your particular services, is the process that you can go through to help you uncover and actually start generating high quality leads for your service business.